We are ready to start with the IPA Pre-Voltaire Award ceremony. So very quickly, all the invitees, invited guests, a very warm welcome to this beautiful evening, but may I request you all to please kindly take your seats so that we can start with the IPA Pre-Voltaire Award presentation ceremony.
Miss Jolly and me is coming. So you got my name?
Mikhail has your name.
Mikhail.
Mikhail is having your
You will,
name,
you will announce the names or no?
No, I won't be because Mikhail Coleman.
Okay, yeah, President, yeah. I'll get 5 minutes. Come, go to the room.
Stay. Stay. Don't go. We're starting. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, may I request you all to please kindly take your seats. We are ready to start with the IPA Pre-Voltaire Award presentation ceremony. So tonight is the night, ladies and gentlemen, when we start. And we celebrate these special people. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to celebrate and honor the champions of freedom to publish. These are the beacons of light who shine in times of adversity and inspire us all. So let's all take a seat. May I once again request you all, especially the members of the audience who are still standing, may I request you all to please grab your drinks, and if you could please take a seat. Thank you. If you could take a seat very quickly, we are ready to start with the IPA Pre-Voltaire Award presentation ceremony. The celebration of indomitable human spirit. The celebration of the spirit to make a difference. The celebration of the spirit to be heard. The celebration of the spirit to carry those voices forward who unfortunately cannot give a voice to themselves. So ladies and gentlemen, once again requesting you all who are still standing to please kindly take your seats. And with that, now take the pleasure of inviting on stage, amidst your applause, Mr. Mikhail Coleman, President IPA, and Mr. Christian Einarsson, Chair IPA Freedom to Publish Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, I must share with you all the IPA Pre-Voltaire Award presentation ceremony will have the presentation of the Pre-Voltaire, as well as there'll be 2 special awards being presented here tonight as well. I now hand it over to Mr. Coleman and Mr. Einarsson to take the evening forward.
Very good. Dear friends and colleagues, as IPA President, it's an honor for me to stand here before you tonight. I have attended this Congress in various locations, first as participant and later as Vice President. While it's easy to get used to each other's company, the fact that we can come together from all around the world and freely share our thoughts on the publishing industry should not be taken for granted. Freedom of expression, and by extension, freedom to publish, are human rights under the Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Yet these rights are under continuous, sustained daily attack, with writers and publishers vilified, jailed, tortured, and sometimes killed merely for doing their job. In 2005, the IPA created the Freedom to Publish Prize to honor a person or organization that made a significant contribution to the defense and promotion of freedom to publish in the world. In 2016, we renamed the IPA prize to IPA Prix Voltaire in tribute to the French philosopher and writer who advocated tolerance and free expression before these terms were in general use. Let us have a look at previous winners of the Prix Voltaire at the video. The video. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure now to introduce you to Kristen Einerson, Chair of the Freedom to Publish Committee, who has the honor to announce to you this year's winners. Thank you very much. Kristen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Michael. As you could see from the presentation, the Prix Voltaire is truly an international prize. And that not only because it's given by the International Organization of Publishers, but also, as you can see, it's a global prize. So far, it has been given to recipients in 11 different countries. There's no surprise when I say that Guy Minhai, who worked as a Hong Kong-based publisher and bookseller, who specialized in producing what you might call fast-moving political potboilers that were critical of the Chinese leadership, through his Mighty Current publishing house and Causeway Bay bookstore, is the Prix Voltaire winner this year. As you also know, he was kidnapped by Chinese agents from his holiday home in Thailand in October 2015. He resurfaced in Chinese custody several months later, and following a period of doubt over his whereabouts, we know that he was snatched from a train in January this year. Guy Minhai has contributed to the free circulation of ideas. He's been participating in human rights conferences and also by sitting on the board of independent Chinese pen. His treatment at the hands of the Chinese authorities and also the treatment of his fellow publishers has had a chilling effect on Hong Kong's once vibrant and audacious publishing industry. In a better world, we would have had good Guy Minhai with us here in Delhi at this conference to receive the Prix Voltaire. We could then have been able to share his comments and thoughts that he probably would have expressed a bit different if he had been free. As we all know, he is not here. He is in detention in China and has to speak as told by his captors. Guy Minhai's daughter Angela was not able to come to Delhi to receive the prize, but she participated in our conference on a video link yesterday, and she is with us tonight as well. There were multiple nominations for Guy Minhai, and the IPA Freedom to Publish Committee has decided to award the 2018 Prix Voltaire to Guy Minhai as an honor to his bravery in continuing to publish despite the risk involved. So, dear Angela, would you like to comment the prize on behalf of your father?
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Kirsten, for the introduction and for inviting me to accept this wonderful and fantastic prize on behalf of my father. So my name is Angela Gui, and I'm Gui Minhai's daughter. Today, I am extremely proud of my father's achievements, but actually, I'd like to begin by expressing my disappointment. So the talented and creative writers over at the manuscript division at the Chinese Communist Party didn't respond to my request for them to provide me with a script for this speech. So I'm afraid that a few words from me and from my perspective will have to do this evening, and I hope that's okay with you. Of course, in light of recent events, I could use this time to talk about some of the other things that I'm feeling. But I don't suppose disappointment or any other words for that matter could ever adequately cover any of that. So instead, I'd like to take these few minutes to talk about who my father is as opposed to what happened to him. To perhaps give you a sense of what being awarded this prize means to him and what he might say or what he might talk about if he was here today. So my father has always been a storyteller. As a child, I used to look forward to just walking places with him because he had a very rare ability to find little anecdotes around every corner that we would pass. He was born in 1964 into a family which the Chinese Communist Revolution had treated rather unkindly. As a child, he was already severely nearsighted and needed glasses to see. My grandparents managed to save up for a pair, but because of the cost of glasses relative to the family's meagre earnings, my father wasn't allowed to play outside with other children. Just in case the glasses would break. So instead, he would stay indoors and read stories. In the 1980s, he studied history in Beijing. China was opening up to foreign influences for the first time in nearly a century. And my father and his friends explore this newfound freedom, not only through their studies, but also through reading and writing poetry about dreams of social change. When my father met me for the first time, moments after I had been born, I apparently grabbed the pen that he always carried in his breast pocket and pulled it out. He tells people that that's how he knew that, like him, I was going to be a writer. And I don't know about that, but he was the one who taught me how to use PowerPoint as a 9-year-old so I could build visual narratives and arguments. And he was my first critic when I started writing essays for school. He told so many stories, and he enabled so many stories to be told. Even if my father was somehow right that I was meant to be a writer, I do find it incredibly difficult to do justice to his story. So let me move on to a little anecdote of my own that could perhaps illustrate it. So I read Voltaire's Candide as a 16-year-old. My teenage self, who I admit was wrong about quite a few things, read it as less of an outright rejection of optimism and more of a realistic or skeptical redefinition of its meaning. Voltaire, in my understanding, doesn't think that being a true optimist means believing that all is for the best in the best of all possible worlds. Instead, true optimism stems from the insight that the world is actually quite awful. Because of that insight, the possibilities then introduced that things can become better, and that also brings with it an important will to make this happen. And as Khalid says at the end, we must cultivate our garden. The reason I'm telling you this is that when I had the news that my father was to be awarded this award, it made me recall one very particular conversation that I had with my father during his time under residential surveillance in Ningbo before he was snatched again in January this year. And for obvious reasons, he wasn't able to recount in very specific terms what had happened to him and what his situation was, but he did tell me this: despite everything that has happened, I remain an optimist. And I think that my father's version of optimism is perhaps precisely the kind that Voltaire describes in Candide. It's an optimism that, in the face of unimaginable cruelty and repression, still believes in change. And it's an optimism that isn't crushed by lies, force, and humiliation. So I don't know what part of my understanding of this prize, or what this prize means to me, that makes my father a more worthy winner of it, his courage or his optimism. Maybe it's a bit of both, but I do think, however, that if my father was here instead of me, as he should be this evening, then he would probably say something in the spirit of Voltaire, along the lines of, we must cultivate our garden. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angela. The practical part of the prize we have to do when we meet in London. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
IPA also has an IPA Prix-Voltaire Special Award. The laureate for this prize must have shown exceptional engagement for freedom of expression related to writing or publishing. This is an aspect where the special award applies more broadly than the Prix-Voltaire itself. The laureate need not necessarily be a publisher, but may also be a writer, a journalist, or a human rights activist. The award is conceived specially as a posthumous prize, and it is a non-monetary award. This year, the IPA Freedom to Publish Committee received 2 nominations for the special award this year, and the committee decided that both the nominees should receive the prize. And just looking at previous special prize winners first. Okay, I thought we had the previous special award winners, but we didn't have them. But as you saw, the first special award is for Faisal Arifin, who was a publisher in Bangladesh. He had collaborated with many prominent writers of Bengali literature, as well as a number of eminent scholars and personalities. Dipan was brutally hacked to death inside his office at the hands of suspected religious extremists on 31st of October 2015. The Freedom to Publish Committee has decided to honor Faisal Arifin Dipan with the 2018 Prix-Voltaire Special Award, and coming from Bangladesh, we have Rashia Rahman, who is a wife of Dipan and who is a CEO and publisher now. And also Angri Mehdi Hassan, who is a CEO and publisher and comes from the Bangladesh Publishers Association. Could you please come forward?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a good speaker, but the lady in front of you is a storybook. You see, I'm wearing white sari. We Bangladeshi ladies usually wear sari, but widows wear white sari. And black is the color of my sorrowness. The sari is carrying his signature, and a letter he wrote to me when I was a medical student. I was living in Bajitpur, far away from Dhaka. He was living in Dhaka. We were childhood friends, so he's not just my husband. He is a part of me. The day when he was murdered, he was wearing this wristwatch. From that day, I'm wearing this wristwatch. Every moment I feel, he's holding my hand. My whole family is really grateful to IPA and all of you because of this award. This recognition is not only a recognition. It's the best achievement that a family like ours can achieve. We had sacrificed our sunshine. We are in darkness. Still we are in darkness. But as Dipan left 2 kids, one is 16 and one is 14, I decided to go along with his publication house. I'm a medical person. I'm a physician. I'm not a person in this sector, but it's my personal protest that I didn't want to stop Jagriti. From the very first day, I tried my best to go with Jagriti, and for last 2.5 years, Jagriti is running very well. In my country, thank you. In my country, we used to do a month-long book fair in February. As the incident happened in last day of October, I had only 3 months to get prepared for that month-long Amor Ekushe Boi Mela, the book fair. But that very first year, I published 20 books, the next year 46, and this year, though I am away from the book fair, I have published 60 books. Beside the publication, I realized that why my husband had to sacrifice his life. Because of the extremism, which is growing like a virus. It's just attacking us. You know, the real condition in Bangladesh is very vulnerable. The extremists are just so alarming. I just realized that if I can make my next generation back to books, then this generation cannot be brainwashed. So I, with my friends and family, established a huge bookshop cafe, which is very first in Bangladesh, that is Diponpur, land of Dipon. Everywhere, it is a 3,000 square feet bookshop cafe where we have kids corner, we have a stage where we used to practice our cultural functions like opening of new books, recitation, we have classical musics, etc. So that when my next generation is coming to the Diponpur, they're learning that we have to grow with our culture, not with the extremism. That's why here I want to give a message to all of you that let's stand together. Whole IPA would be together to protest against this extremism. Why should we give our life? We are for betterment, we are for social welfare, but why we are sacrificing our life? If you see the faces of parents of Dipon, if you see the faces of his kids, you can't bear that pain. It's like a war to me, and I'm a lonely fighter. I'm standing here with a broken heart, but I'm so grateful to you. You recognize this publisher. I'm so grateful to you. I hope the next days or the coming days would be ours. We won't have to sacrifice our life. No one can hatch our lives from us. We mourn, but we have strength. We have the strength to go forward with the spirit and the ideology of Dipon. He worked his whole life. He was a bright student. He was a student of economics in Dhaka University, but he made his career in publishing because he knew that book is the only weapon through which we can give a better world. To lighten the situation, I want to sing a Tagore song. সকাতরে ওই কাঁদিছে সকলে শোনো শোনো পিতা কহ কানে কানে শোনাও প্রাণে প্রাণে মঙ্গল বারতা. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Did you want to say something?
Good evening. This is really sad moment, and on behalf of Academic and Creative Publishers Association, Bangladesh, we came here to attend the Congress, and really this evening made all the Congress for all of the publishers from Bangladesh. It's memorable. I'm thanking IPA, I'm thanking FIP for organizing the IPA Congress, International Publishers Congress, and giving the right person the right recognition for sacrificing their lives, but it's not how we want it to happen. As the Director of International Affairs, I will request you, all the person who are attending this event, to make our world better for the publisher, for the journalist who are working for the truth, who are expressing the words of the authors worldwide. And this is very much needed for a good and knowledgeable world that we look for. In conference, everything happens around the publishers, the knowledge and everything increases around the publishers. And we will request you to make this day memorable. And of course, I am hoping that someday is coming, very near future, that nothing will happen like this, and we can publish, and freedom to publish hashtag will be awarded by everyone, and everyone will know about that, and everywhere there will be movement about this. Thank you, IPA. Thank you, FIP.
And thank you for these impressive statements also for the future. We had 2 nominations, and as I said, the committee decided to give 2 special awards this year. I would like to quote from the nomination for the 2nd special award, which came from one of our member organizations. And it says, Liu Xiaobo, who died from cancer in July 2017, was a Chinese writer and an activist, and probably one of the most prominent dissidents in his country. Throughout his life, Xiaobo had to overcome censorship when he worked for the magazine Democratic China, but also when publishing articles criticizing the Chinese Communist Party and the lack of freedom and democracy in China. His work, for which he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2010, should also be praised by the IPA for its valuable contribution to the defense and promotion on freedom to publish. So the Freedom to Publish Committee has decided to honor Liu Xiaobo with a 2018 Prix Voltaire Special Award. As you know, his wife, Liu Xia, should have been here to receive his prize. But she was last seen publicly on July 15 last year, when she participated in her husband's memorial service. Since then, she has not been seen in public. Although Chinese officials claim that she is free, the circumstances make it clear that she is not. So we urge the Chinese authorities to set her free. Thank you for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a rather moving and heartwarming stories that the winners shared. And here's once again to everybody who wishes to celebrate their freedom to express their voices and the freedom to publish. Tonight was a celebration of the champions of freedom to publish. May I once again request you all to let's give them all a resounding applause. And we would also like to share with you, the winners, that you live in our hearts forever. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on this evening, as you can see, we are ready to enthrall you. The dinner is sponsored by Sharjah Publishing City, and we are indeed thankful to them. And I now have the pleasure of inviting on stage a very special person without whose kindness and generosity and solidarity this evening would not have been possible. The 32nd IPA Publishing Congress forever remains in debt, and our thanks and sincere gratitude. With that, I take the pleasure of inviting on stage, ladies and gentlemen, amidst your applause, Mr. Ahmad Al-Ameri, Chairman of Sharjah Book Authority, UAE. And may I request that the applause need not die down. And I also take the pleasure of inviting the entire organizing committee of the Federation of Indian Publishers. Ladies and gentlemen, amidst your applause, please put your hands together for Mr. N.K. Mehra, Shri Ashok Ghosh, Mr. Pranav Gupta, Dr. Ashok Gupta, Mr. Naveen Gupta, Mr. Ramesh Mittal. So there they are, ladies and gentlemen, the faces, the names who have been working behind the scenes relentlessly, tirelessly to make not only the Congress a big success, but also this evening and for all future occasions. And Mr. Ahmad Al-Amiri needs no introduction to the August gathering, but may I say that his middle name might as well have been Charm and Suave. He is that in person and more. And the entire team, we are thankful to you for being here in such numbers. Your support means a lot to us. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the man who is the star at the moment, the star attraction for this evening. May I request you, Mr. Ahmad Al-Amiri, to please share your thoughts with us. A large round of applause, please.
Good evening and welcome. I don't know about you, but I'm so exhausted. This is a full-on conference, and what we need to do now is relax and have a good dinner after a long and thoughtful, revoking day. We are honored to sponsor tonight's dinner, and thank you for making us so welcome here in Delhi. Shukriya.
He might be a man of few words, but don't mistake the charm. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I now take the pleasure of inviting back on stage our group, the band, which is to perform this evening. But they will need some time to fine-tune their instruments, I'm told. So, I shall be introducing them at length later on. Meanwhile, I'd just like to tell you all that they are here. They're all set to regale you with the new age Indian sounds, a very talented band indeed. Put your hands together as you are joining us on stage now. May I request them all to come back and start their preparations.
We're a band from New Delhi, and we'll be playing some music for you through the course of the evening, but just kindly bear with us. We haven't had the opportunity to check our sound. A few moments, and we'll be playing some of our music for you very, very shortly. Thank you. Check. Can you hear me? Check. Just check the keyboard and
चिंता बावरिया करके जो बने यारो रसिया हो न जाए
Vain dream and say nothing once somebody told. 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 Daydream 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 and say nothing once somebody told.
All right, thank you so much. As you would have noticed, we're a band of 8 people, and we've been together for the last, this is our, 14th year maybe together, and we've been writing music for the last 14 years. And as you might have noticed, we have a little bit of, not just a little actually, a lot of influence of Hindustani classical music. How many of you listen to Hindustani classical music here? Raise your hands. Nobody? Just one person? All right, so maybe we should make it our aim tonight to maybe give you a taste of some classical music if you haven't. And for those who have, maybe this will be a memorable experience. All right, this next song that we're going to do is a song we call Miliha. Miliha means something beautiful. And, well, we'd like to dedicate it to you guys, because all of you are, well, beautiful. So this one's called Miliha.
don't know why. Chasing running, trying to hide, breaking, hoping. I don't know why. Caring for those who made us cry. Still you're waiting. I don't know why. Seeking, searching, trying to find. Waiting, watching. I don't know why.
Right, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Well, this next one is a slightly more aggressive, dark one. It's a song we wrote when we were younger and angsty and all of those things. So we still have that little bit of angst that doesn't go away. But we've mellowed down a lot. But we'd like to pay tribute to our angst from the teens and the quarter life and the midlife crisis that follows. This is a tribute to that. This next song is a song we call Gates of Dawn.
You're numb from the outside. You're crying out to the brightest star of night. Your skin is trying to burn itself, trying to gauge the pain, to tell the mud from the rain. Been sitting away
Thank you. All right, so we're going to do one more, which is angsty. Of course, we have a lot more to go. But this one is about having issues with your lover. I guess we've all gone through that. It's a song we call Mandirva. You might have heard of this bandish in maybe another version, but this is our interpretation of this fairly well-known bandish. It's a song we call Mandirva.
मंदिर
we're done with the angry part. We move to something mellow. This is a song we call Mere Yaar. It's a song we'd written a while back for an AIDS awareness campaign. Yeah, this one's called Mere Yaar.
नाराज़गी की बात नहीं है, ये पल ये साथ यही है। नाराज़गी की बात नहीं है, ये पल है साथ यही है। इन जिंदगी की राहों में है दो तू अकेला नहीं। मेरे
Whispers have turned to voices, solemn prayers to rejoicing. Time is ticking by.
नाराज़गी की बात नहीं है, ये पल ये साथ यही है। नाराज़गी की बात नहीं है, ये पल ये साथ यही है। इन जिंदगी की राहों में है दो तू अकेला नहीं। मंजिलें मिलेंगी तुझको तेरी, गम ना कर कोशिशें कर पूरी। देख यही कहीं रोशनी है, सर उठा मंजिल यही है। मेरे
Thank you so much. All right, this next one you might have seen or heard. A few years ago, we had the opportunity of being on Coke Studio. You've heard of Coke Studio. Some of you might have heard of Coke Studio. And we performed this song, a version of one of our own tracks, Ghir Ghir, for Coke Studio, and this one's called Ghir Ghir. Thank you so much. That one was Gir Gir. All right, this next one is another song about rain. Gir Gir was also about the rain. Somehow we just like writing about rain. And this one's called Drops of Earth.
In this rain as it falls back to life, come days long gone when we raced for some car drenched in drops of earth all over. Clouds admire the drops we chased, fell the mist in that rain, run and hide and splashed all over, made a friend once again. In that rain.
want you guys to put your hands together for this next one. It's a song we call Dhoom Ketu.
Ta di ge na tum 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 ta di ge na tum.
This is how you can do it. Right, put your hands together. Tatta diti agenato, and say it if you can, you know. Tatta diti agenato. 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 All right, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being a sport and clapping along. That was called Dhoomketu. We come to the penultimate song for the evening. It's a song we call Mo Funk, but this song was also featured on a recent movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Wazir. Did you see the movie Wazir? It had Amitabh Bachchan and Farhan Akhtar and quite a bunch of cool people. But one of our songs, Mo Funk, got featured in the movie during a sequence where Mr. Bachchan is kind of teaching Farhan Akhtar how to play the game of chess. In the movie, it was called Khel Khel Mein, but the original is called Mo Funk. This one's called Mo Funk. thank you. And within the span of that song, Farhan Akhtar becomes a champion chess player, you know. All right, we're going to end the evening with something fun. This one's called Durga. I don't know whether everybody's feeling the need to be proper because it's a very proper event. But if you feel like getting up on your feet and moving a little bit and, well, having a good time, this one's for you. This one's called Durga. बिल्कुल डांस करने के लिए बोल रहा हूँ मैं बहुत ही पोलाइट वे में
लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो 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 मानत ना पिया अपनी बात मानत ना पिया अपनी बात मन लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर हारी रे अपने पिया को वन वन जाऊं अपने पिया को अपने पिया के वन वन जाऊं अपने पिया के वन वन जाऊं प्रेम करन तुझे हारे रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर हारे रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर हारे रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर हारे रे मैं तो
Out you in this place, groping in the dark. Out you in this place, calling out your name. For love I will rise, for love I will fall. Won't you hear me call? Won't you hear me call?
लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर
realize that the people haven't really gotten into their dancing shoes, then we kind of force them to do it. Yeah. So far we've been polite. And it was very interesting, this little seat dance that everybody did. But I think it's time to get up. If you're a little shy, I will give you a very simple dance move. Right? Can we all request you to just stand up? Come on, guys. Everybody. Sharmao mat, kya ho gaya? Nobody's watching. There's only these many of you. So people who have the dance moves, bring them on. But for people who are a little shy, the simplest thing you can do. The only thing you need to add to this is to sing with us.
लख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो
कर हारी रे मैं तो
लख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो
लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो. Yeah? Okay, sing whatever. La la la, that's also fine. Yeah? Alright, all on board? Let's do this. लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो. Alright, fine, put those dancing shoes on. लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लाख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो
लख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लख जतन कर हारी रे मैं तो लख जतन कर
All right, give yourselves a huge round of applause. Thank you for being such sports. Thank you, guys. We are Advaita. Thank you for having us. If you've enjoyed our music, find us online. We are there on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere. Thank you. Have a great evening. Thank you. All right, so we'll do one more. But like I said, we had a angst phase and we had all those kind of phases. We didn't really have a dance phase, so we didn't write many dance songs. But this next one is kind of this, well, it's a fast one. You can find your own dance moves. But it's a song we call Hamsadvani. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys for having us once again. We are Advaita. Have a great evening. फास्ट हो जाएगा सर.